Known for his muscular appearance, the former professional bodybuilder, Mr. Universe winner, actor,
I'll be back,
and California governor, is now a proponent for a meat-free lifestyle.
One and only Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Back in the 1970s, like virtually all others in the sport, Schwarzenegger fueled his rise to bodybuilding stardom with a diet heavy in animal products. The multi-talented star appears in the upcoming The Game Changers documentary. Vogue calls The Game Changers a shocking documentary that will change the way you look at meat. Schwarzenegger also co-produced the film, which follows the story of former UFC fighter James Wilkes, who is on a quest to uncover the truth about meat and whether it's really needed for protein and muscle building. Wilkes interviews a number of successful athletes who follow a meat-free diet, including Schwarzenegger. In the film's trailer, Schwarzenegger is unapologetic in his takedown of the meat industry.
I ate a lot of meat. They showed us commercials.
Steak, that's what a man eats.
Selling that idea that real men eat meat.
Serious man food.
But you got to understand, that's marketing. That's not based on reality.
The film also features Formula One driver Lewis Hamilton, Olympic cyclist Dotsie Bausch.
When I went plant-based, I wasn't sure if I was going to survive. And I actually became like a machine.
World record-holding strongman Patrick Baboumian, and tennis star Novak Djokovic, who won his 5th Wimbledon title against Roger Federer in what's been hailed as one of the greatest matches in the sport's history. The film was executively produced by the award-winning filmmaker James Cameron. He's an environmentalist and vegan who has worked with Schwarzenegger before. The Terminator, one of Schwarzenegger's most famous roles, was written and directed by Cameron. Cameron and Schwarzenegger also appeared together in a Wild Aid promotion in 2016.
So for the planet and for your health, please consider eating less.
less meat, less heat, more life.
They encouraged people to reduce their meat intake for the sake of the climate.
The number one thing that you can do is to just stop eating or cut down on your consumption of meat and dairy. Meat and dairy are not good for your body, and they're not good for the environment.
If they tell you to eat more meat to be strong, don't buy it.
The former bodybuilder is passionate about protecting the environment. As governor of California, he witnessed firsthand many of the state's industries feeling the effects of climate change.
There's that state of emergency in California with wildfires burning across the state.
Thousands of Bay Area homes at risk of flooding in the next few decades.
As California suffers through an unprecedented drought that we've been covering, over half the state now facing the most severe condition.
From year-long droughts to rising sea levels, decreased snowpack, increased wildfires, and deforestation. Schwarzenegger believes that people should be more focused on the issues that are happening right now as a result of climate change.
If little towns like Göttingen can do it, and if a big state like California can do it, and if a country like Austria can do it, that has made a commitment to be 100% renewables by the year 2030, then everyone can do it.
He said to The Guardian in 2015, "It drives me crazy when people talk about 30 years from now, rising sea levels and so on. What about right now? Thousands of people are dying from pollution. People are living with cancer because of air pollution." He added, "There are people stuck in cancer wards now, tubes sticking out of them."
We are killing 7 million people a year because of our pollution.
"My job is to get the message out there.
We can do better than that, and each and every one of us has the power to cut down on the consumption of meat eating.
If you do not have people behind you, you can't do anything on legislation. Global warming is an extremely important issue. The most important issue. You have to communicate it properly. You have to communicate to people that this is right now." Schwarzenegger has pointed out that 28% of greenhouse gases are a direct result of livestock farming. Some estimates put the livestock industries at more than half of all global emissions. More than 55 billion land animals are raised for food every year. Recent studies suggest that by converting a number of livestock farms to growing plant-based protein instead, many of the world's environmental and food access issues could be alleviated. Another recent study found that converting UK farmland into forests could offset the country's CO2 emissions by 12 years. Air pollution directly intersects with animal agriculture. Those who live near factory farms experience higher rates of health issues like asthma, chronic headaches, and bronchitis. Factory farms are also major polluters of rivers, streams, and the oceans. Runoff from factory farms causes red algae blooms, which can lead to dead zones, sections of the ocean completely devoid of life. Animal products aren't just an issue when it comes to the climate crisis. The same forest study found that converting land away from livestock could produce enough protein and calories for every person living in the UK. Animal products are also some of the leading contributors to disease and chronic human health issues, including diabetes and heart disease, high cholesterol, and some forms of cancer. In the Game Changers, athletes and doctors discuss how a meat-free diet impacts health and performance.
Today's blood and yesterday's blood. Sam.
Wilkes meets with experts to discuss how a body changes on a meat-free diet.
The gladiators were predominantly vegetarian.
How could the original professional fighters be so powerful, eating only plants?
It's a conversation Schwarzenegger has been having for years. Schwarzenegger told the BBC in 2015, "You can get your protein many different ways." The Game Changers focuses on the health and performance benefits of eliminating meat, but it's easy to see the overlap with the environment. Schwarzenegger says the problems are widespread and interconnected. Watching the film boosted Schwarzenegger's interest in plant-based food. His classically trained personal chef recently received a lesson in cooking meat-free from vegan chef Chad Sarno. Sarno is the former global R&D chef for Whole Foods Market and co-founder of vegan seafood brand Good Catch Foods. Schwarzenegger enjoyed the brand's crabless crab cakes, while his chef was introduced to some of Sarno's favorite vegan brands. "Such an honor to cook for this legend," Sarno told LIVEKINDLY. "When powerhouse influential superheroes like Arnold take a stance and want to diversify their protein with plants, we know times are changing. With these influences, we bring plant-based diets into the mainstream conversation." Schwarzenegger has recently been using his Instagram account to promote clean climate initiatives like electric cars. In a video where he posed as a used car salesman named Howard Kleiner.
"Hi, how are you? Howard Kleiner."
Schwarzenegger teamed up with Veloce to promote the benefits of electric cars. To show how they save time, money, and the environment, he went undercover as a used car salesman and tried to sell people gas cars instead.
Hey, what are you looking for?
We're looking for, like, electric. Fuel efficient, like quiet.
I have exactly what you're looking for.
What do you think, huh?
One person who shares Schwarzenegger's passion for environmental issues is 16-year-old Swedish activist Greta Thunberg. Thunberg, who has received a Nobel Peace Prize nomination, has soared to fame in recent months.
"I wanted to act as if the house was on fire, because it is."
She created a trend when she began weekly protests and school walkouts, which have since started happening around the world. The teen has given hard-hitting speeches.
"The bigger your carbon footprint is, the bigger your moral duty. The bigger your platform, the bigger your responsibility."
And holds politicians and industries accountable for their actions. In a recent UN climate speech, she urged action.
"Our civilization is being sacrificed for the opportunity of a very small number of people to continue making enormous amounts of money. Our biosphere is being sacrificed so that rich people in countries like mine can live in luxury. It is the sufferings of the many which pay for the luxuries of the few."
She added,
"You say you love your children above all else, and yet you are stealing their future in front of their very eyes."
After meeting Thunberg, Schwarzenegger said he was starstruck. Thunberg has also taken a firm stance against the livestock industry, and even took her own parents to task for eating meat.
Bad news for your parents.
Yeah, I just kept telling them that they were stealing our future and that you cannot stand up for human rights while you are living that lifestyle, and then they decided to do those changes.
Is the future vegan? While animal agriculture is a major polluter, adopting a plant-based diet could significantly help the planet. A recent report found that if the world's population adopted a vegan diet, there would be a 70% decrease in total carbon emissions. It would also free up 1 billion hectares of land, currently used for livestock production. That land could be made available for growing healthier plant-based proteins, fruits, and vegetables. Schwarzenegger is a realist. He doesn't expect the world to completely stop eating meat overnight. Less than 5% of the total population is vegan. Meat reducers are diversifying their protein choices, opting for burgers made from pea protein and sausages made from soybeans. In 2016, Schwarzenegger spoke at the United Nations Paris Climate Change Conference, encouraging people to go meat-free a few days a week for the benefit of the planet.
Livestock creates more pollution than all the transportation combined.
He told the BBC, "People will buy in to stop eating meat 1 or 2 days a week. You have to start slowly. It's a very big challenge, but it doesn't mean it shouldn't be done." Not everyone believes the seriousness of the climate crisis.
With the global warming and that, a lot of it's a hoax. It's a hoax.
But in an impassioned letter on Facebook in 2015, the former bodybuilder told his fans that it doesn't matter to him what science people believe, because he's going to address environmental issues regardless. He finished the letter with a hypothetical scenario. He wrote, "There are 2 doors. Behind door number 1 is a completely sealed room with a regular gasoline-fueled car. Behind door number 2 is an identical, completely sealed room with an electric car. Both engines are running full blast. I want you to pick a door to open and enter the room and shut the door behind you. You have to stay in the room you choose for 1 hour. You cannot turn off the engine. You do not get a gas mask." I'm guessing you chose the door number 2 with the electric car, right? Door number 1 is a fatal choice. Who would ever want to breathe those fumes? This is the choice the world is making right now.
Come with me if you want to live.
That's it for today. What do you think about Schwarzenegger's environmentalism? Let us know in the comments. Remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell. New videos every Tuesday and Friday.